Yep, it's that time again. On the Voyager, you gotta replace the battery. However, it's only because the battery I did buy was a piece of garbage. And it lasted 11 whole months, and then something inside the cells went ahead and shorted because the system voltage on the bike was 14.5. I even used a battery tender type flip charger, and the battery inside this bike would actually show 12.5 volts. And then when you went ahead and hit the starter, it would drain down almost nothing, telling me inside there's something wrong. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this old battery. I left them a really bad review on Amazon too. And we're going to replace it with the new one. So, need to come down to here where the key goes in. However, I got this neat little rubber black cover that goes in there, just protecting the keyhole with, from dirt and debris. Just a little vinyl cover that I cut down. It basically slides right in there. It doesn't go anywhere, so that's basically what I use when I have the, when I'm basically done with that little keyhole. Again, I'd rather have dirt and debris gather up on this dust cover than inside the lock. So from there, for those of you that have never done it, the key goes in here. Go ahead and give it a turn, and you see that basically causes this to go ahead and pop up. Just gonna lift this out, pull it forward. Same thing in reverse. When you go to put it back in, just make sure it goes in the right way. I've seen some guys put it in halfway and they try smashing this down. That's not the way it's built. This bike is definitely not something for hammerheads. It's actually the coolest bike I've ever had as far as taking the seat off. There's not a bunch of bolts or any of that stuff. In case you guys wonder, yeah, I put caps on everything, and I have these little wear spots that I've actually put rubberized things onto to protect the paint. This basically just lifts up and then pulls back. It gets it out of the way. And again, the same thing. I put a couple little vinyl, or actually, yeah, kind of like a vinyl pad up here, one down in here. Any place where there's rubbing on the paint, I put something on there just to basically go ahead and protect it. And here, this is just where I carry my extra bulb. And we're going to go down there. There's a screw down in here, Phillips. One over in here. We'll take this off and expose the battery. In case you're wondering what some of the extra wires are, this is stuff that I've added to the bike. And again, anytime I add anything like the speakers, I make sure everything is covered in wire loom so that it looks factory. It doesn't look like you look in here and you see all these colors and think, oh look, there's something you added. So let me go ahead and get those Phillips screws out. Okay, I use what's called a JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard Phillips screwdriver. Because the heads of the bolts and screws in here that actually are Phillips are actually shaped differently than the American ones. If you use a regular screwdriver, I'd say there's about a 75% chance you're going to strip these bolts out. But if you use a JIS, they actually sink all the way down into the Phillips head themselves. So it doesn't hurt to go ahead and go on Amazon or whatever and buy yourself just a small set of JIS screwdrivers. Over here, this just needs to come out. So let's see if I can get it out with one hand. It looks like I can't. So let me just use two hands here, see if I can get this out of here. A little finesse, a little wiggling. I found out you can get this side out first, and then that basically comes out. Down in here is the ECU. If you guys ever get it reflashed, just disconnect these plugs here. Pull this thing straight out. It's really easy. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to go ahead and get it reflashed. So let me get these covers off. You can get down there and use a Phillips if that's all you have. However, it's kind of important to me, so I like to go ahead and use ratchet. It's a 10 millimeter. And of course, to remember, you don't want to mess around and leave this in and then trying to work on this hot side, which is up against the frame. So what you need to do is remove the frame from the actual ground. Take this side out first. Then you can take that one out. And then if you basically bump against the frame, you're not going to see any arcing. Just have some extra vinyl covers here. I use these for all kinds of things. Dust covers, hiding unsightly bolts, and in this case here, while I'm messing around with the battery, I just kind of put it on the ground side here. That way there's no way it accidentally touches this bolt as I'm wriggling it out to be able to have any problems on this side with this bolt that's hot. It's kind of hard to grip onto this battery with your fingers when you're removing it. I just use a small set of these here, grab a hold of the plastic bit, and I pull it straight up, and it works great. And then you'll notice I've got some foam in here, and you think, what the heck is that for? Well, what I do is I put foam in to lift the nuts up toward the top of here, because sometimes the nut sits so low when you go to put it in, these short screws, they don't bite. So all I do is I put this foam in there, lifts the nut up both sides, and that way I have absolutely no problem when it comes to putting the bolts back in. And that's the name of the company that sold the world's worst battery. But hey, they give you a 30-day guarantee, don't they? And that's why it dies in about 11 months. That way they don't have to say, oh, it's warranted. Nope, this thing is absolutely useless. Alright, so you'll see some extra wires and stuff in here. This is actually for my battery tender. It's the negative, there's the positive there, and it goes down to where I have it way down at the bottom of the bike, so it's not sticking out like an eyesore, but it's easy to get to. And what I did is I just took a blower and blew all this out in here just to make sure there's no dust and dirt, none of that stuff. I mean, it doesn't hurt while you have it open. It only takes a couple seconds. Yeah, this battery in the terminals, they did give you steps to sort of support the nut. But I found adding that little piece of foam to hold it up in place is a little bit nicer. Not to mention you can center the hole so you don't have a problem. Again, this just makes it easy when you go to put it back in. So you don't sit there over and over again trying to get the damn thing started and spitting off 3 and 4 letter words. Everything's good to go. And again, I can do the same thing. I can basically hold it here when I go to lift it, when I go to set it in. That way it doesn't just go dropping in the bike. So let's get this in. Gotta remember is positive on this side, negative on this one, so you don't put it in backwards. Just drop the battery down in there. Just remember if you have any accessory wires to get those ready. It's so easy, I know, I've done it, to go ahead and put this all in and you think, God, I've got to hook up the battery tender line. So just kind of take your time with everything. I'm going to start this with a screwdriver and then give it a nice little tighten with the actual 10mm socket. Right, when you put it back together, it's the same thing in reverse. Just take your time. This thing should plop down right in here as long as you have the big bundle inside this little indentation. You got the cable and this wire here on the outside of this. And at the same time, these little things here, these are basically came from the factory. They hook into the accessory fuse in here. I'm actually using one, and that powers the module I have in my trunk. Is a USB A and C charger. It's on a different video, and just take your time with it. Of course, before I put all this on, I did check the system voltage, and it's 12.5, so I know the battery's good. Let me just go ahead and get rid of some fingerprints in here, pop the seat back on, then I can go ahead and start it. All right, let's give it a start. I expect the clock will be all screwed up, but let's have a look. No, I think the clock is okay. I'm not sure. Nope, it's messed up. I'll just go ahead and reset it. I'll just let it run for a bit, and I think when I'm done here, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the float charger. That's it, back to normal with a decent battery. Actually, a brand new one. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for our future content. I look forward to seeing you on the next YouTube video. Thanks for watching.